Hello there, and welcome to stage 36 of the Mega Crab. That's right, the crabbing. I don't know, this is what, episode like 98? I feel like there have been a lot of levels that have been made into videos, possibly more than before. I can't remember actually how far I got on the last Mega Crab. How horrible is that? I am completely spacing out. I'm hoping that it was, you know, at least reasonably far. Something far enough that I wouldn't make fun of myself for only making it that far, you know, like, hey, look at you, you can't hookah, you only made it to level 25, you suck. Actually, jeez, I hope I made it past level 25. So, with 36, we're going on to the right-hand side. And the reason I went to the right-hand side is because I enjoy watching all of my troops just get flattened by a massive shock blaster. Alright, maybe I don't like to see them get flattened by a shock blaster. Maybe there was another reason. Alright. The other reason is because the other side of the map is freaking frightening. Like, I don't mean scary mortar frightening, I mean like, oh my god, reevaluate my life frightening. It's really intense over there. There's just like, there's a lot going on, a lot of like cannons and defenses that could make your day incredibly bad. So I decided to go over onto the right-hand side. It didn't seem quite as frightening, especially because I thought with the little square that obviously used to be just above where my troops are now, when I saw that little square, I was like, you know what? I think with like a couple of critter boxes, I could probably clear that out pretty good. And I was kind of right. It worked out not too bad. Maybe didn't get quite as far with the attack as I was hoping, but definitely not ashamed to say that I formulated this strategy in my head. Well, okay, maybe a little. So, there are a bunch of rocket launchers and things in the middle, and I decided, you know what, like, I'm not going to get through this attack with the remaining troops that I have, so I'm going to eat the bullet, I'm going to do as much damage to them as possible, and just accept the fate of having a second attack on this level. And, wham, dropped my same troop combo. I do find that the heavy Zookas take a lot more, they have a lot more losses than certain other, like, say, Scorcher Zooka? Skooka? Would that be Skooka? Yeah. Let's go Skooka diving. Wait, no, that's something different. Everybody's learning how. Something with me. I don't know. What are the Beach Boys? Is that a thing? Is that even, like, has science found a way of... Anyways, so with my second attack, obviously took the same route because it had been cleared and it was nice and safe, and sort of labeled everything I possibly could down in the scary zone, I'm gonna call it, and then brought everything up to the very top and back into the safe zone, because it's not the scary zone, and let the troops come in from there. And it's awesome because really there's nothing else that can contact our troops, so it's just a waiting game of chilling. And I realized partway through that there was a cannon there that was kind of picking off my heavies, and I was like, well, I might as well save some heavies, why not? And this kind of goes into the whole, you know, I feel like the hookah loses troops a lot more than something like Skooka would, or T-Med, or Skanks, or whatever, but the flexibility is there. It can deal with so much, and the increased damage is there. It's really, really nice. Now, that being said, I hit this level and was like, hey, let's blow up all of the slow making things and just smoky tank our way up into the top there. I really saw like all these rocket launchers, and I was just like, okay, rocket launchers are bad for what I'm looking at, like, you know, for heavy Zooka, and they're spaced out just enough. You would have to waste so many shocks to keep those things all shocked. It would blow your mind. You can get at most 3, like on a corner, 3 rocket launchers. So I was like, all right, that's fine. We're going to pull everything together. We're going to cut right through, right up to where the base is at, and we will win the internet. And then apparently I got frozen, and that was the end of that plan. Reflaring number 4? I don't even know how many times I flared, and then sent everything up to the top. I was a little sloppy with the smokes because I was like, you know what? I'm not too worried about it. It's frickin' tanks, man. Like, they should be able to handle it. Man, I was wrong. And so I figured, okay, you know, I've got some critters out. I'm gonna unleash some things, chew up whatever defenses might be trying to do bad things to my poor tanks, and then I'm gonna let my tanks clear out a nice little safe spot here to do some damage. Well, what I wasn't anticipating is that when I flared them into what I thought would be the safe spot, the tanks would go in and just be like, yeah, it's really cool in here, it's really nice. I'm gonna go right back to where I was, you know, where you don't want me to be. And I was just like, oh my goodness, the tanks aren't gonna stay in there. So they had to sit here. And you know what? This attack, I remember sitting here and I was watching the rocket launchers firing away on me. And I was watching my tanks slowly working on the shield, and I was like, you know what? This attack, this right here, this is when I wish that I had gone full offensive statues. Like, I'm still rocking, what is it? I guess 6 offensive statues because I still have my resource reward, my PSC, and like my 2 blues. So I'm pretty sure, again, if I just had a few more, a few more troop damage statues, like this level would have been gone. I would not have had to have doubled up, because, like, I don't know, down in the comments is where I put all of my troop levels and all of my statues and all that kind of stuff. So you can figure out what statues I'm rolling, and this is how far I'm getting with 6 offensive statues. I feel like if I had a full-on 10, like, oh mama, things would be kind of crazy. And because when it starts getting into these higher level crab attacks, it's almost like doing a little mini op. Like, it's very similar to War Factory, which, you know, like, if you got the boost, it's going to make things a lot easier. You're going to be able to cut through things a lot quicker, and, you know, you can actually pull off a smoky Zooka attack, whereas with my measly 6, I really can't do that. I have to go through things the hard way with the hookah and just kind of like grind out an opening and then come in for round 2 to actually finish things off. So, I don't know, maybe for next Mega Crab, like, I'm hoping that, you know, it comes every 3 to 4 months, give or take, roughly. I'm hoping the next Mega Crab is going to drop, probably sometime in, like, February or January, and, hopefully by then I will have maxed out my, my base a lot more. And maybe I'll be able to get rid of some of the stuff. Like, I probably won't be able to get rid of the blue statues, but at the very least get rid of the resource reward and just, you know, pick up some extra statues here and there. I don't think I'd ever be able to get rid of my PSC unless I got like a perfect one on my base and then rolled a second perfect one and threw it in like my statue storage. I don't think I could get rid of that. That's too valuable. And I know that on the forums some people were like, "Oh no, PSC isn't working on the Mega Crab again," because previous Mega Crabs had problems where PSC chance didn't get changed and whatnot. Honestly, I'm not 100% if it is working or not, but I know I've been boosting my PSC anyways, and I cannot keep up. I don't have any kind of electronic device immediately at hand, but I can't even keep up with creating my statues and my masterpieces and stuff because excuse me, I have been getting so many that like I pretty much 24 hours a day have my poor sculptor grinding away on something. Like before I go to sleep, I start off a masterpiece, and then, you know, by the time I wake up, I do some stuff, the masterpiece finishes, I start trying to pump through the guardians so that, you know, I can get the guardians done, and like if I've got to go out and I've got to go do something, then I'll kick off like, you know, a masterpiece, and then in between all of that I'm trying to like you do all of the little fragments and convert them into idols, and just it's insane. It's almost like a Mega Crab mini game, which is weird. Mega Crab Statuemon. Anyways, also you may have noticed with this attack I loaded half of my boats with Zookas. That's because I wanted to do heavy Zooka, but I was like, all right, I've really got to get this down while I still have my boost and everything. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna gem off these troops and then move on for level 39. And I said hookah, I meant Aruka. That's right. Starting at 39, I have been, because like these levels are giving me 2 million gold a pop, I have been upgrading things in my armory like it is going out of style. And one of the things that I have been upgrading is my Riflemen, because I've been dying to level them up for so incredibly long. And because I had like the crazy amounts of gold, I was just doing Cryoneers and being like, eh, whatever, upgrade Cryoneers. But excuse me, every 4 levels I would find myself upgrading Cryoneers again, and I ran out of levels for Cryoneers, so I switched over to the good old-fashioned Riflemen, and I started upgrading the Riflemen, which, you know, I've been going through and slowly upgrading Riflemen and doing my thing, but yeah, this time I did my Riflemen and I maxed them out. And I maxed out the Cryoneers because I had so much gold. And now officially, my armory is completely maxed out. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm watching this replay and I'm just watching the constant fear bombs just ruin my troops. And like my flares are useless and I'm re-smoking like... Oh man, struggle bus to the extreme here. And somehow, through all of that mess, I still have freaking troops. I do not know how I pulled that off. I'm gonna go with dumb luck, and also really well-timed cryo bomb. That cryo bomb on that freaking shock launcher just ground that bad boy to a halt. And then all the mortars here, it's fantastic. They're slow. It was great. It allowed my troops to kind of catch up and recover from the fear bomb insanity that was going on. Like, I lost track of everything there. It was intense. But anyways, yeah, officially my armory is fully maxed out, which means that I no longer have anything to do with the gold that I get in the game, which is a really weird sensation. I was not expecting to max out my armory this like far ahead of everything else. Like, I figured it would kind of come in at a similar time, and I knew it would be a little skewed because of, like, back in the day when I was turtling, you know, I had certain things that I would, like, I'd upgrade my armory and not worry about buildings and stuff like that. So back when I first started, it wasn't like it wasn't like the well-oiled machine that my base is currently, where excuse me, I'm always upgrading something, and I'm always upgrading a building or landing craft or whatever, and something in the armory. And now I no longer have anything left in the armory. So those were not bucks, by the way, because I didn't lose. Sorry, and also I am apparently losing my throat because doing, you know, like 8 hours of commentary in a single day is not the greatest thing for your throat. Go figure, right? What are the chances? So, all right, now for the final attack on 39. As you can see, I've pretty much cleared out everything in the back, and I was just like, you know what? One shock, I can take out that whole 8-pack of the scary mortars. So I started tossing my shocks, and somehow, I don't even know why, like, I know I have done this shock a million times. I just could not for the life of me hit the intersection for, like, the magical, you know, shock of the 8-pack. And I don't know why. I honestly don't. I don't know what happened. I do know, though, that my troops somehow got a speed serum, and boy howdy, look at those guys go with their crazy pinkness. Especially when you fast forward it. Movie magic, it's fantastic. So 39 goes down, and then we can move on to 40. Excuse me, sorry about that. So on the left hand side, all kinds of crazy fear mortars and all kinds of insanity and stuff, but really, in the grand scheme of things, one shock launcher at the back, and that's about it. And I was like, you know what? I think I can pull this off. So I decided to go all Zooka and just, you know, all out, let's do this, make a win. Because it seemed like a good idea at the time. And then somehow I failed Zooka landing 101 and dropped one boat way out on its own, and then spaced my smokes out too far and just disintegrated. That's the end of the attack. And I'm like, alright, well, time to turn this into a GBE attack so that I can, you know, clear out mines that I'm going to want to clear out, and I'm going to blow up things that I want to blow up, and basically make it so that my next attack can be that much better. Which is saying something, because obviously this attack did not do well. So I reloaded my troops, and I decided, alright, this time I'm going to be smarter, I'm going to space out my things a little better, and we're not going to have the same problems that we did last time. And I was kind of right. So I decided to go and play it safe because things were so bad last time around. I went with the 3 smoke landing, and I kept my smokes so nice and tight and close together that I probably oversmoked like a beast here, but I honestly didn't really care. I wanted to make sure my troops ended up where I wanted them to go. And as you can see, every time I try to like space out those smokes by even just a little bit, I end up losing just a massive swath of Zookas. So, I would not suggest trying to do the Smoky Zooka on 40 unless you are a beast pro superstar at Smoky Zooka. And like, I know you guys are out there, so by all means, don't let my random ramblings kind of, you know, skew your ideas. Just do you. But for everybody else in the world that isn't superstar, smoking, smoke times, just kind of chill. You know, probably go in with some tanks, and you should be able to like take out all of those flamethrowers without the flamethrowers even really having range on you. And you can, you know, have some medics backing you up to heal through for the rocket launchers and stuff. You can pop critters and whatnot, and like eventually you'll get there. And once again, we find ourselves with just a few Zookas at the end trying to blow things up, and I started tossing GBE pretty much everywhere because I wanted the buildings to get damaged, because I knew that would cause damage to the HQ and trying to get things, because it was so tight. I was worried I wouldn't have time. As you can see, I got 13 seconds left. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully this has been entertaining. And most importantly, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day.